Washington just erupted over a single vote, and it could change everything. Congress voted 218 to 211 to remove Ilhan from the powerful U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee, the body that shapes U.S. foreign policies and oversees spending. Supporters call it accountability. Critics says it's political retaliation, but many are asking, would this vote spark a much bigger fight in Washington, one that affects foreign policy, immigration, and government spending in the months ahead? This story is just getting started. I have more clips to show to you guys, but before we go further, my name is Faith, and you're welcome back to Chat with Faith. If this is your first time here, I'm glad you found this channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a conversation. And as always, credit goes to the original creators for every clip used in this episode. Remember, this video is for educational purposes and awareness. It is not meant to hate or discriminate against anyone. The goal is to discuss real challenges and perspective openly and respectfully. So, stay with me.
Just voted to remove a Democrat from a major committee. Ilhan Omar was removed from the House Foreign Affairs Committee by a party line vote of 218 to 211.
And this is exactly why we need to go ahead and start lobbying our own fucking politicians. What the fuck is 211 Democrats saying no for? Bitch, you had to be a citizen to become a fucking congressman. Stupid motherfucker. What part of she fucking lied to get the job don't you understand? You just gonna let her go in? That means anybody can infiltrate our fucking government, stupid motherfuckers.
When I was in college, I took a terrorism class, and
is that a such thing?
Yeah, there was.
So there is a lab for that?
There was a class that you.
Do you go to lab?
No, we learned the ideology of.
I'm glad you do that.
Al Qaeda, hospital.
Donald Trump, the great liberator of women around the world. You're making a very important point. And here's a woman in Congress you serve with, Ilhan Omar, responding to you on X, saying, I hope you aren't drunk, and took your staff's advice. Rashida and I, Tlaib, of course, don't know this man and feel confident he didn't care about us. Please refrain from drinking too much. As you've been warned from your staff, stay off social media. I don't know what she's talking about, but I pray in this holy month you find peace and respect for yourself. I think she had lashed out at the idea that the president moved forward with this because, as I understand it, there was intelligence saying there was a target of opportunity to take out the Ayatollah and other leaders. She's complaining that the attack came during Ramadan. And Rashida Tlaib, by the way, is attacking both the United States and Israel, another member of the squad, and saying they shouldn't have done this, as if the U.S. is a foreign country to her. Could you unpack some of that?
Well, I don't give a damn if it's Ramadan. I don't care if Muslims are fasting right now. This was the right time with the right intel, the right president to go in there and do this, and he'll have his chance to explain it to her secretaries to Congress. And she was also responding because I was complaining about that. Where was she when Jews were slaughtered? Over 1,000 Jews were slaughtered in Israel by Hamas, by Palestinians on a Jewish holiday. I don't remember her complaining about that. And when she said that very defamatory statement about me in the middle of the night, by the way, what was she doing in the middle of the night? But I asked her what it was like to be married to your brother. I mean, like, she has no room to attack anyone on any issue, quite frankly. And I'm ready to denaturalize and deport her to Somalia. Let's go.
There you go. You've said that before, and it sounds like you mean it. Congresswoman Nancy Mace means what she says what she means.
Her contempt, and right next to her, Rashida Tlaib, another person with an immigrant background. Look, Ilhan Omar has some legal issues regarding her citizenship. I'll just leave it at that. I think that they've been well covered in the press, but it's shameful. And I am so happy to be an American, and people need to get out there and touch some grass in other countries and see what they go through to really appreciate how great we have it in this country. But freedom isn't free, and every generation needs to fight for it. And if we're complacent about it, we will lose it. And history has shown us that civilizations that get fat and happy usually lose it. And we're so fat and happy that we're handing out billions of dollars to scamsters in these blue states and not caring about it at the same time that California has the lowest reading standards in the United States and has broken roads and has an open border and has, there's sewage issues and you name it. It's insane. And so we cannot take this beautiful country for granted. I will not, as long as I draw breath, always be very proud to be an American and fight for what America means and why my parents brought me here to this country.
Yeah, that was an interesting answer. Could you elucidate at all for us on these citizenship issues for Ilhan Omar? Will we ever see anything on that? I will tell you that I was very
anything, but
sure.
I think it's been well covered, and I covered it certainly myself before I joined the DOJ. That certainly it's a truism of immigration law that if you commit fraud in the course of obtaining your citizenship, if you lie about being that you weren't a Nazi guard at a concentration camp, you can be denaturalized. If you lie about your marriage status on which your citizenship depends, or your familial status, or what have you. If you fake any of those documents or you lie, that's a grounds for denaturalization. And so I think it's been credibly alleged that there are serious questions about the circumstances of the paperwork around that naturalization. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not working on that issue. That's not part of what the Civil Rights Division does. But I think we need to police that seriously. It is a precious privilege to be granted citizenship as a naturalized citizen in this country. And I don't think it should be taken away lightly, but if it's just a basic concept of law that if you commit fraud in the course of obtaining a benefit, you're not entitled to it.
Got incredibly heated when Nancy Mace demanded the immigration records of Ilhan Omar and her brother, husband thing or whatever. You're going to want to watch this video.
The Committee on Oversight and Government Reform is the principal oversight committee of the U.S. House of Representatives and has broad authority to investigate any manner at any time under House Rule 10. And this particularly, the legislative thing that this would inform would identify reforms regarding immigration fraud and denaturalization processes, potential criminal liability, things that we need to address statutorily and legislatively. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Mr. Garcia amended the Mace motion. Does any other member seek recognition?
I'd like to just comment on the motion.
Go ahead.
Then
go
I
ahead.
can, if I can
I'll
comment
recognize Garcia, then Mace. Go ahead.
I just want to just begin by saying, broadly speaking, on the initial motion, Congresswoman Omar is a proud member of this body and an American, and as American as any member of this body. She's a public servant and a fighter for her constituents, and she represents the American dream. And I know I and House Democrats are honored and proud to support her and to serve with her. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has endured horrific attacks her entire time in public office, and we admire her courage. My motion requests documents on Corey Mills, a Republican from Florida. And I just want to note that this is not the best way of handling these types of issues. And we are introducing this only because this is being introduced on Representative Ilhan Omar. And so we are forced to make this motion and this amendment to Nancy Mace's, Representative Nancy Mace's motion. And so with that, I conclude.
Gentleman yields back.
Everybody's screaming, everyone's crying. So what's the occasion? Well, Congresswoman Omar got voted off the Foreign Affairs Committee.
The question is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those in favor say no. No. It's the opinion of the chair that the ayes have it and the resolution is agreed to. And without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Does that remind you of anything? McCarthy yanked Omar off Foreign Affairs to pay back Pelosi for yanking his people off committees. He didn't want to do it, doesn't think it's right, but he had to do it. You can't let Democrats boot your boys off committees and turn the other cheek. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Consistency. There is nothing consistent with the Republican Party's continued attack except for the racism and incitement of violence against women of color.
They said it would never happen. They said she was untouchable. But today, Ilhan Omar got booted off the Foreign Affairs Committee and the meltdown was nuclear. AOC was shaking. Democrats were screaming racism and the squad looked like they just seen the rules apply to them for the first time. This is what accountability looks like. Number two, frankly, I don't know why the president felt the need to tweet on this subject as at all. You know, when you argue with a fool. You just prove there are two, and I consider a Congresswoman Omar, a Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, a Congresswoman Talib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the squad. I consider them to be fools. They hate America. They think America was wicked in its origins, and it's even more wicked today. They ought to be thanking America instead of calling America evil and wicked and racist. But this is America, and they're right to their opinion. But I don't like to see the president even dignify their point of view. Besides that I think that the squad, as they call themselves, they are destroying the Democratic Party. You know, when your opponent is screwing up, don't interrupt him. Let him go. You know, I mean, just looking at this from a political standpoint, if I didn't know better, I would think the members of the squad were GOP plants. I mean, they think that illegal immigration, socialism, higher taxes, abortion are all moral goods. They think
America is in what I can only call an autocorrect mode, where we are seeing the signs on a daily basis, day in, day out, that we are indeed healing as a nation. Now, Ilhan Omar has officially been removed from the Committee of Foreign Affairs. How she got the damn job, I have no idea. I mean, if you know about Ilhan, you know that this is an individual who has a deep disdain for America. She has a genuine hatred for what America represents and stands for. Even as somebody who is not from America, who has a place of power in America, she somehow views us as lesser than. But I digress. This is the real story. Good riddance. Goodbye. Thank God. Arrivederci. Okay? Ilhan, the Democratic platform has had you believe that individuals like yourself actually deserve the positions of power that you're in. You have been deluded into believing that this is what the American people want, is American hating as opposed to America first. Well, turns out that after you clear out enough of the corruption and you allow the people's voices to be heard, the likes of you will no longer have a job. It's truly that simple. Now, this is, again, early signs, early stages, but we will indeed clear all of this out. Y'all hear the news about the rogue activist judges, clearing them out. Y'all are hearing about the cases that are being put together in the DOJ and the FBI's, etc., clearing them out. It will take some time. There's been a lot of damage done over the last few decades, frankly. So be patient, but we're seeing signs of land, folks.
Okay, I've officially had it. I started a petition online last night, and I would like for everyone who is part of the coalition to save our republic to please sign it. I will try to include it in this video or attach it. And if not, I'll put it in a separate post. But I did post it on X last night, and I need you to sign it and share it everywhere. The president is doing, like, he's multitasking across the planet right now. He is conducting hemispheric defense to save our republic. And we need to help the president as much as possible. There is strength in numbers, and we are many. See, 78 million people voted for what is happening in Minnesota and across this country right now. We want these Somalis out of here. They have stolen trillions of dollars. It's trillions. You're going to start to see that with all of these illegal foreigners that came in here, over 50 million in the last 4 years under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they have stolen trillions of dollars from us. My God, there were Somalis leaving the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport every single day. Thanks to John Solomon, of Just the News, reported this. I thought it was once a week. No, it was every single day. Over, what, $750 million in 2 years? Cold hard cash, leaving Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport, leaving Washington State, Seattle, different parts. I wouldn't be surprised if it was right here at Denver International, because they're everywhere here. Ilhan Omar is a cancer. The Somalis in America are a cancer. And they need to be removed immediately. And I started the petition because I reiterate, President Trump needs our help. There is strength in numbers. And we have seen what happens when we get together as a coalition and we fight the evils in their quest to take down America and to burn it to the ground and rebuild it in their image. Well, guess what? My family has strong generational ties to this country. My husband served and died for his country. That is this one. I don't have nowhere else to go. I'm not African. I am an American freedman. I am derived from black slaves. I don't have anywhere else to go. And I am not going to turn over my country to Ilhan Omar. It is insulting that she is allowed to continue to draw over $175,000 per year as a congressman when she has stood up at a podium and declared with her own face that she only works for the best interests of Somalia. She meant it. You don't have to question it. She said it. So why is she still allowed to sit in Congress? Does she have something on any of you? Mike Johnson, you are the Speaker of the House. Okay? Y'all sure moved quick to remove George Santos over much less. Now, I have had it with Ilhan Omar with her track record, preaching to me and virtue signaling and lecturing me and the rest of American citizens on morality. She thinks she's better than us because of her religion. You know what? It's time for her to go. It is an insult to American citizens who voted for President Trump to continue to allow this individual to sit there and basically steal from our country. Her people have been stealing from our country and taking advantage of our generosity while lecturing us on how horrible and racist and sexist and xenophobic and Islamophobic that she says we are. I've had it. Whatever you have to do, Mike Johnson, to get this done, you need to do it. Again, I started a petition to remove her from Congress. I don't care what it takes. President Trump is doing the heavy lifting. He got the one big beautiful bill passed, ensuring that ICE has more than enough money that they need to conduct the operations, despite all of the crazy white liberal females and their cohorts, to continue operations to remove illegal foreign nationals who are unlawfully present in this country. Do not insult our intelligence any further. You people want to be reelected, and we are screaming toward the midterms. Sign my petition. Remove Ilhan Omar. I have had it with her casting aspersions on ICE. ICE is doing the job that we hired them to do. And I look for intensity to be ramped up. Remove Ilhan Omar from Congress. It's the absolute least that you can do. Cheers.
The sitting member of Congress, Ilhan Omar, is at the center of a major controversy in Washington. She is a Democrat from Minnesota, born in Somalia, who came to US as a refugee and later become a naturalized citizen. Right now, her citizenship and her personal history are back in the spotlight, and the political fight over is heating up. For years, critics have questioned aspects of her past, including her marriage. Some say it was immigration purpose. Omar has denied these claims, saying they are false and politically motivated. Recently, this question resurfaced in Congress. Nancy Mace, a Republican from South Carolina, has been pushing a transparency. She called for a congressional sub-pioneers to review Ilhan Homer's immigration and naturalization records. Supporters of Mace say that if immigration fraud were ever proven, the government could use a process called denaturalization, meaning a person's citizenship could be revoked. In extreme case, this could even lead to deportation, but critics point out that these claims have been online for years without proof and argue that they are being revived for political reasons. The controversy got even more heated over foreign policy. Ilhan Omar criticized a U.S. military strike on Iran during the holy month of Ramadan, raising questions about the timing. May fired back, pointing to the October 7th attack by Hamas during the Jewish holiday of Simchat. She said Omar didn't show any level of public outrage then. The debate quickly became personal, spilling onto social media late at night, and in Washington, moments like these rarely stay personal. They almost always turn into bigger political battle. Now, let's talk about denaturalization. It is very rare. The government must prove clear evidence of fraud or mispresentation in the naturalization process. Accusations alone aren't enough. Courts handle these cases carefully, and historically, most don't move forward without overwhelming proof. And even mentioning the possibility captures attention. The US Department of Justice oversees this matter. When they got involved, even indirectly, Washington pays attention because the stakes are serious. So the question now isn't just a personal fraud or policy disagreement. It's whether this controversy stays political or becomes a formal legal battle. These kinds of conflicts can have ripple effects. They can influence foreign policy, immigration debates, and even government spending. They can dominate the news cycle for weeks. For Ilhan Homer, it's a challenge to defeat herself politically and publicly. For her critics, it's about accountability, and both sides believe they are defeating something important. Stories like this don't disappear quickly. They grow, they evolve, and sometimes they reshape the political landscape. Right now, we are watching a political fight and national implication. Will it stay in politics or will it enter a legal arena? Will Congress pursue sub-pioneers and investigation, or will it fade into background? No one knows yet. But one thing is certain. Everyone in Washington, the media, and the public will be watching closely for the next chapter in this unfolding drama. What do you think will happen next? Comment below with your thoughts respectfully. If you've enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. We'll keep you updated as the story develops. See you in my next post.